I design and sell flags on TikTok, and I'm gonna show you how I do it. In this video, I'm gonna show you my whole process on making my White Sox flag. I've already made a Cubs, a Bears, a Bulls flag, and now it's time for the White Sox. And I'm using Photoshop for this design. I definitely recommend it. It's a great software. You could use Canva and other stuff like that, but I recommend Photoshop. So the first thing I do is figure out the top 5 people on the team that I want to put on the flag. So I usually do some research online, I ask some friends, I DM people, and I figure out the top 5. Then I take one of these guys, I look them up on Getty Images, and I find a picture like this. Then I remove the watermark and throw it in Photoshop. Usually it takes me a while to find the perfect pictures, but I'll show you when I get all 5. Now that I got all 5 players in here, I'm gonna start cutting them out. So to do this, I usually do select subject through this, usually use cloud, and then I go through with the lasso tool after because it's usually pretty good, but you have to go in a little more and just refine these edges like this. So I'm gonna go do this on all of them, make it very clean, cut them out, so then I can add some effects. Now I got all these guys cut out, I messed with the composition a little bit, and I'm gonna do some camera raw filters on these guys. So I'm gonna go into each of them and do camera raw filter. I'm gonna add a bunch of texture, clarity, up the shadows, usually just smooth it out, try to make them all look cohesive and fit in the same scene, and then I'm gonna start working on the background. Just got all these guys cleaned up, camera all filtered, then I just worked on the background for a little bit. So I had this white bottom with the logo, with the Chicago skyline, some extra logos, and some clouds. So this is the base main design, and now I'm gonna add a bunch more effects to the players to make it fully come together, and I'll show you that. Okay, so for my player treatment, I do a couple different things. The main thing I do is I do a gray overlay dodge and burn layer, and what I do here is I use these dodge and burn tools, and you can pretty much paint highlights and shadows onto the images. So I usually try to keep all the images in a graphic similar for the dodge and burn, trying to make them all look like it's coming from the same light source. I usually do it from the top or a backlight, and you just paint where there should be shadows, intensify the shadows and highlights, and this is really rough, but something like that. You could also use a smaller brush to make more refined highlights. And then for my highlights tab, I usually I use a pretty small, completely white brush, and I'll just paint a fine line around the subject to add a more intense highlight on top. And then for my shadow layer, I'm gonna use a exposure adjustment layer, and I'm gonna paint onto the layer mask, and I'm gonna do the more intense ones, just add a little more depth to it, and it'll look something like that. So I'm gonna go through, refine, do all the top player treatment effects to each image, and I'll show you. Okay, now that I'm pretty much done all the player treatment, I've done a glow behind them and the highlights, I'm gonna start working on the shadows. So this will get them actually in the scene. So I usually use one of these flat brushes, and I kind of just paint these shadows here. And then I'll usually make a little bigger brush, lower the opacity, even more than that, like 20, and really make it look like he's standing right there. And then I can kind of refine it a little bit, clean it up, and then I'm gonna do this for all of them. And now that I got all the shadows, I'm going to add the final overlay. So this just adds a bunch of texture, adds a little bit glow on top, makes it kind of all come together. And then now I'm gonna keep adjusting the lights and darks with another gray dodge and burn layer right here. And I'm just gonna kind of refine everything, add a little more glow, add a little more shadows, and then I'll show you when that's done. So now that we got everything set up, I added some more glows, some more shadows, I got the overlay all good. I'm gonna export it as a PNG and add one final camera raw filter. And here it is, the final Chicago White Sox flag by flag.shop. Y'all should check out the website or go to my TikTok. I'll be dropping this soon. I'm about to throw it into a mock-up for a flag so I can post it on the product page, but this is the finished design. If y'all want to see, this is kind of the before, all I did to it, versus the after. So I really hope y'all learned something. I hope you can try to implement something like that. I love graphic design. I love entrepreneurship. I love all this. Subscribe if you like it, and see you.